Ladies and gentlemen, James O'Keefe has done it again. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to UnwokeThoughts. Tonight, we are talking about this top White House cyber official who got caught on a hidden camera telling James O'Keefe, who was in disguise. I mean, it wasn't much of a disguise because all he did was color his hair and put on a pair of glasses. It's kind of like a Superman scenario where Superman takes off his glasses and he's like, surprise, I'm Superman. You know, it's everyone can clearly see it's James O'Keefe. It's not like he had a fake nose on or something. But this cyber official, his top executive for the White House, tells James O'Keefe things that they can't say publicly. Among those things are that the White House wants to replace Kamala Harris and confirms President Joe Biden is in mental decline. So this is big news. Actually, wait, no, it's not big news. I mean, first off, we all know that Joe Biden is in mental decline, or he's there. He's there already. His mentality has already declined past tense. Currently, Joe Biden is at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to mental decline. A little bit of news when it says that the White House wants to replace Kamala Harris, but I mean, come on. Would anybody want Kamala Harris on their administration? I mean, I feel like that could only be a liability. Her unlikability is at all-time highs. Every time she says anything, it's extremely cringeworthy. But I do like watching the clips because they are hilarious. But guys, let's get into this video. It's about 13 minutes long. I won't play the whole thing. I will try to cut out the parts that are not really that interesting to keep this video concise. But listen to this. It's very interesting what these officials say in public versus what they say in private. Now watch this.
Charlie Krager is a cybersecurity policy analyst and foreign affairs desk officer in the executive office of the White House. He manages 2 federal agencies and for the last 4 years worked at the State Department. He works on the president's priorities, executive orders, is a high-up official and cybersecurity subject matter expert. I met with him undercover on Sunday, January the 21st with my hair dyed, wearing fake eyeglasses.
Okay, the first thing I'm taking out of this is that this guy is a security expert, yet he is meeting with James O'Keefe, who I feel like everyone in left-wing politics should know who this guy is by now. But apparently, this White House executive, the security expert, doesn't, because he's meeting with James O'Keefe in person, not just one of James O'Keefe's employees.
Not only did he not recognize me, he sang like a bird. His social media, which was scrubbed after my initial meeting with him, says he likes long walks on the beach and diplomatic negotiations.
But no, I'm not a spy. I work for the White House. So I do oversight and management, and so my job is to help oversee like responses to cyber incidents and cybersecurity problems. And so I manage 2 federal agencies, the State Department and USAID.
So this guy manages 2 federal agencies.
So I have recurring meetings with them where we talk about goals and we talk about the president.
So this is not just a low-level guy. This is a guy who manages actual agency. This is mind-blowing to me.
Priorities and like how are they coming on certain executive order deliverables and like all of this kind of stuff.
So when you say it's like security, like you're protecting
the networks of the federal agencies that you give all your information to.
That through commerce or
everyone, yeah.
So you're protecting the networks.
Yes, but I'm not like sitting there coding.
Yeah.
I'm meeting with like the senior level decision makers, and we're talking about problems.
You're doing it at a senior level.
Yeah.
So the mission is to protect information. That's very impressive.
Thanks.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool, Mr. James Bond.
We are like the president's voice when we go into meetings in terms of discussing and promoting the president's priorities. And,
so you're like the enforcer?
Kind of, yeah. And the State Department people are more difficult, high maintenance. And
Why is that?
They call me demanding.
Why are they more high maintenance than the State Department?
Because the State Department has a big ego. So tell me about you. So you went to Rutgers.
Yeah, I went to Rutgers.
And what did you major in?
Well, I majored in journalism, and I designed brochures and pamphlets. I was very, very good at it. I'm probably one of the best there is. And I'm also very good at sales.
Why do you think you're one of the best at this?
20 years of experience.
Okay.
But what I do is not as interesting as what you do.
That's okay.
What you do is a movie, I guess, or something.
So James O'Keefe is really stroking this guy's ego to try to get him to talk more. And I think it's very interesting to observe how James O'Keefe does this, because he's kind of putting him up on a pedestal here. When this guy asks about James, he kind of goes into his background a little bit, but then he turns it back on him and says, well, my life is just not even anywhere near as interesting as yours. Yours is like a movie or something. So I guess it's true what they say. Flattery will get you anywhere.
And I had several dates where people would be like, well, I don't think we should have to get the vaccine. And I'm like, fuck you. It's you're not going to get the vaccine, and then you're going to go expose my family in the hospital to your vaccinated COVID. Fuck you.
I love everything that Biden is doing. I love his policies. He just seems just witnessing.
I mean, that right there should be a red flag. I mean, if you ever meet anybody who says, I just really love Joe Biden, I just really like his policies, and I like everything that he does, what should happen in your brain? Red flags should go off right there, because I don't think there's a person on this planet who is a massive Joe Biden fan, but I could be wrong.
It just looks, it's a bad look. I mean, he can't, struggles to talk.
Yes, he's no Barack Obama.
Is he going to be the nominee?
Yes.
Wow. So Joe Biden confirmed, I guess, by this White House executive, Joe Biden will be the Democrat nominee. Wow, that is great news.
She will be the vice president nominee.
Yeah,
There was a debate about removing her from the ticket, but sadly they didn't.
I agree with everything.
So in case you missed that, they were talking about Kamala Harris right there. And Charlie, this White House executive, says that there was a debate about whether or not to remove her from the ticket. But then he said, quote, sadly, they didn't. So apparently, Kamala Harris is not very well liked in the Biden administration as well.
What Biden is doing is just his cognitive ability. Like, I have a grandfather who's 91.
Okay.
And Joe Biden is worse than my grandfather who has dementia.
Yeah.
He's sort of walking like this, and he's sort of like, and I think that voters are going to look at that, and it's going to hurt us. I think that independents are going to look at that, and they're going to be like, I can't deal with that. But with him, I know. He's got dementia.
Well, how many has that?
Man, this is great stuff. James O'Keefe, he's just a master at his craft. He's saying that this guy has dementia, and you look at Charlie, this White House executive, he's nodding along and agreeing with James O'Keefe. The Biden administration, everyone around Biden, they know that Joe Biden is not fit for the job. They know that he essentially has dementia, and they know that the White House is basically a nursing home at this point. And they clearly, as you see here, they clearly know this, but yet he is so useful. He's like a useful idiot, a useful tool, and they really can't run anyone else at this point, apparently. So they simply have to prop him up once again.
Clinically yet?
Not yet.
But he is definitely slowing down.
My question is, are the people like your colleagues or the White House or whatever, do they get it? Do they know that?
I think that they probably do, but no one in modern history has ever said, we're not going to renominate the president for a second term. That just hasn't happened.
Do they know that he has those issues?
I think so.
But they're not willing to say it.
Shows it. And,
they're not willing to say it publicly.
And same thing with Kamala Harris. She's not popular, but you can't remove the first black lady to be vice president from the goddamn presidential ticket. What kind of message are you going to send to all the African American voters?
So that's the reason.
So once again, this is what the Democrats are worried about. He's saying you can't just remove Kamala Harris. I mean, she is a black lady. She's a woman. What kind of message is that going to send to the African American community? Once again, it's not because she is so good at her job. It's because she checks these boxes, these diversity, equity, inclusion type boxes, and she simply fills a role. She's not necessarily good at her job. And as you can see here, no one on the Biden administration even like her. they're saying no one. He's saying right there, nobody likes this lady.
That's why they won't remove her.
That's what I think. How would you spin that? People would be like, what the f-? Like she's a woman and she's multiracial and she's
But she's not popular.
Kamala is so unpopular. The New York Times did an article about how she hemorrhages black staff. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her.
So even black people don't like Kamala Harris. Wow, that's a news flash. Here we all over here thinking that Kamala Harris was just so popular with black people. But apparently everyone, no matter what their race or gender. One thing we can all agree on is that we all don't like Kamala Harris.
In mass.
She hemorrhages black stuff.
Yeah, there's a New York Times article about it. It went, like, people sent it around at the office and everyone was like, oh,
Why don't
shit.
they like her?
I think they need to get rid of him or get rid of her.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to do that. I think that they're really concerned about this.
But they won't say it. Well, I guess if they say it publicly,
Correct.
that
They can't
Biden
say it publicly.
is they can't say it publicly.
No, they've got to
They
toe the
say it
line.
privately?
Did you catch that right there? He's talking about saying things publicly, and his exact words were, no. They can't say these things publicly. They've got to toe the line. And it's very funny because it seems like there's mass cognitive dissonance because what you can clearly see with your eyes, the White House denies or won't say. But the public clearly sees these things. So it's a very interesting scenario. I was listening to James O'Keefe on a Twitter space earlier today, and he compares the White House to a Potemkin village. That's where they kind of create everything and make something look like it's not in order for the public to accept it or to feel better about what is happening, in this case, in the White House. So I thought that was a very interesting analogy for James O'Keefe to use.
So they know it.
They know it. Of course they do. But
Yeah.
it's the optics and, like, the scandal, I think they feel wouldn't be worth it.
I mean,
I'm just telling you what I've heard. Like,
You're just telling me the truth.
Does it make sense? No, but that's what I've heard.
I
I've had a meeting with Michelle Obama at one point when I was an intern, and someone asked her, "Will you ever run for office?" And she said no, emphatically. No.
Really?
Okay, now this is great news. Michelle Obama apparently confirmed is not running for president. That's a big relief.
She said, "I will never run for office. It does not interest me. I've seen how," like, she said it a lot more eloquently, of course, than I'm going to say it, but she was like, "I've seen all the shit my husband has had to go through, and that does not interest me."
I asked Charlie Krager, who works in the executive office of the White House, how is it that a security official in the White House doesn't know he's on a meeting with James O'Keefe and would divulge such secret information to James O'Keefe?
So you work in cybersecurity for the White House, and my question is, what are you doing on a meeting with James O'Keefe? And how do you think it looks to the American people that working in the Office of Cybersecurity, you're sitting across the table?
Do you see how he took off his glasses there? It's like the Superman reveal. This guy, I wonder what's going through this guy's head right now. He's like, oh, shoot, you are James O'Keefe. You took off your glasses. There you are.
With James O'Keefe,
Okay.
founder of Project Veritas.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we do undercover investigations into people. What does it look like to the American people that the cybersecurity specialist at the White House is sitting across from the founder of Project Veritas? What type of cybersecurity operation are you guys running over there?
What do you, we're running a good cybersecurity operation.
Well, obviously not, because you're meeting with me. Did you not do your research? Or what is this clown show you guys running over at the White House?
So this is great. He automatically gets defensive. He's like, no, we're running a great cybersecurity program over at the White House. And then James like, well, but you didn't even know that I am James O'Keefe himself, the founder of Project Veritas. So this guy completely just got blindsided by James O'Keefe, and I love to see it. Well, kind of. I mean, at the same time, it's kind of concerning that White House executives can be infiltrated so easily, as James O'Keefe is pointing out here. But after publishing this video on X, formerly known as Twitter, James O'Keefe tweeted out a follow-up, and he says, breaking, Charlie Krager, the White House cybersecurity official, has deleted his LinkedIn account and X account, but we've saved everything and it'll be in this thread. So apparently this guy went into full panic mode. And I've also heard he deleted his Instagram and just about every one of his social media accounts because of what happened right here in this video. But what do you guys think? What do you think about this White House cybersecurity executive who is spilling the beans to James O'Keefe? What do you think about the fact that James O'Keefe was able to get a date with this guy and essentially just simply ask him these questions, and this guy was just giving him this information? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.